You've found the YouTube channel where we only do one thing. We teach beginners how to day trade the new Micro Emini futures, the stock equity index futures like the S&P500, the NASDAQ100, and more. And also, we have 10,000 subscribers who are using this channel to help to learn to day trade, 100 videos, and I have 2 very specific playlists, especially for beginners. Each one has 4 10-minute videos, and that's all free. So welcome to the channel and stand by for the Trade of the Week. I'm Don Singletary, and welcome to the channel and our 10,000 plus subscribers. I got to tell you, if you've never traded futures contracts before, and most investors haven't, you're in for a treat. It's either going to drive you crazy or you're going to love it, and I never know which one it's going to be for you. That's your decision. But it is a higher risk type of trading. If you have no risk tolerance, like if you've never been to a casino or played a hand of poker or bought a lotto ticket, this is probably not for you. But if you like to get into a high leverage, even though it does have a higher amount of risk, you can get a lot of bang for your buck. And if you've never traded futures contracts before, this will be a great introduction for you. These new Micro Emini contracts came out about 2 years ago, and they are record-setting. In under 2 years, they traded over 1 billion of these contracts. It set records, and people can't get enough of them. And the reason is simple. It's the first time, really, there's ever been an affordable way for the investor at home to be able to get on their computer or their phone or online anywhere and trade 6 days a week, about 23 hours a day, and try to make extra income or just have some fun. And we'll show you what it's all about. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel, and you can find all these free videos and all the features that we're talking about that are available free on the channel by reading the text below this video. It has a lot of links down there to the trade simulator and some other information. The Trade of the Week this week is going to be on September 30th, 2021. And I'm going to take off at about 11:41 in the morning and do this trade here. What we're looking at now is a standard setup screen. It's a part I call the trade setup. It has the watch list chart and the signal indicator. To make it easier to learn here on the channel, we keep all these placements and screens consistent instead of changing them around all the time, as some trainers might do. We have the price chart with the candlesticks and the MACD trade signal indicator in the bottom pane. And you can see the market opens on 30th September at 9:30 in the morning, and until 11:30 for a full 2 hours, the market sells off rather well. So the definite trend for the day would be down. And since I'm trading the S&P500 Micro Emini, each point of this contract I've shorted would be trading at $5 per point. And I go over and click the bracket order, and then bring the one cancels the other bracket order to the left side of the screen. And on the right side, you can see I have my trading set up with the candlestick charts. I'm going to sell a contract here at about 43.35, give or take a little, and put my stop up at about 5 points up. Now, $1 a point, 5 points, that's a stop loss of only around $25, something mostly manageable quite easily for most traders. And the market's moving around just a little bit, and I've revised my trade price to somewhere around 43.29 and put the stop up at 43.33. So I'll be about $15 or $20 up on the stop when I initiate the trade. And I change it around. One of the things I like about the TastyWorks software is you can click and it will do the totals for you. It has a built-in calculator up there. You can trade at a fixed price with a market order any way you'd like to do it. Now, the close at profit down here in the bottom screen is really, I call this close at profit box. It's all fiction, really. It doesn't matter. You can put in any number you want to, and the market just simply doesn't care. And so I'm off to the trade here. And you'll see I have the 1, 2, 3 parts of the order, and we'll talk about those for just a moment so you can see how the trade works. I'm going to short one contract. I'm selling high, I'm going to buy low. That's the idea in a short sale. The price I shorted at 43.28 3/4. You can see my initial stop market was 43.35, 6 1/4 points, $31.25 up. And the market's already trading down at 43.28, so I'm just about even. I decide I'll take my TastyWorks mouse and pull that stop down to 43.32.5. Now I'll do the math for you. That's 3 3/4 points for the stop. So my worst case scenario is I could lose $18.75. I love that click and drag feature on the left mouse button in TastyWorks to be able to move that stop so easily and see it right over the live screen during the trade. Now, if you're thinking my first priority is how much money am I going to make, you're wrong. It's how little risk I can get through on this trade. Right now, the maximum loss, $18.75, not a lot. Now, a frequently asked question I get, and one of the best questions of all, is how do I know where to put the stop? Well, let's talk about that. The premise, if you remember, when I placed the trade, I talked in the setup about the MACD crossing over green line below the red line there and way down below the zero reference line. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm like the surfer trying to catch a good wave here, and I expect this price to go down. If it goes back up, then I've been proven wrong and I have to back out of a trade pretty quickly. So there's no reason to put a large stop on a trade like this. If it should turn around, it just means I was wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is if you try to ignore it and you substitute hope for a strategy during a trade. I expect this trade to continue to go down. And since you lose about 40% of your trades anyway, losing $18.75 is not the end of the world here. It just means I'll have to try again and make more trades. But I preserve the capital in my account because I just refuse to lose a lot of money on a trade. And the key to this was choosing the entry point. And you can see it's not a really volatile price time right now. So there's no need to place some stop at 10 points above where I'm trading or anything, because if you take this in context, which is what you have to do, you have to watch and learn and practice and learn how to do this. Rule number 1 is always be constantly reducing the risk on the trade you're in. That's your job. Now look at this. I've been in the trade for about 3 minutes now, and I'm trading 43.30 I guess. So, you know, I'm down $5 or $6, and I'm only trading 2 points from my stop order. And there's no reason to get freaked out about this. There I hit 43.31.70. I almost hit 43.32 there. And if I get stopped out, that's okay. It's just this trade didn't work out. But what's really sad is when you try to ignore that and without some really empirical happening on the screen here, you can just hold your ground and work the stops. That's about all you can do. It's a risky type of trading there. I'm 1 1/4 points away from getting stopped out now, but it's no big deal. It's going to happen to you a lot in trading, and you have to get used to it. It's part of preserving your capital. Rule number 1. Never, ever forget that. I like to watch those gold mining shows. I think it's Gold Rush on Discovery. Those guys, every one of them expects to get rich before they ever put a shovel in the ground. And they go through a lot of trials and tribulations, not unlike this kind of trading. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Okay, moving my stop down now, 43.31 1/4. Let me do the math for you. That's going to be a maximum loss on this trade now of only $12.50. It's been 4 minutes. It's right where I entered the trade at. So what I'm thinking is, hey, show me some profit or I'm going to get out before I even lose my $12.50. And, you know, it's okay to feel a little demanding about a trade. That's why you get into it, to make some money. And at 43.28.50 in 4 minutes, I'm right back where I started with this thing. But I only have $12.50 risk. So it's a calculated risk here that you take, and our indicators are still saying this market should move down just a little bit. It just hasn't happened exactly when I wanted it to. Remember when you were a child and you would push another playmate in a swing, you had to apply that pressure to keep them swinging at just the right time. Well, that's kind of the way this trading works. You have to get your timing right so you can take out a portion of that price swing that's happening here. This price swing is almost non-existent right now, so I'm not being impatient, but I am running out of patience for this trade because I don't want to move this stop up and risk losing $20 or $30 on a trade that's going nowhere, right? I mean, what you see is what you get sometimes. Now, I'm, for a second there, I was about $10 up in the trade there, 43.26 and a half. So at least that's something. Okay, now I'm not trying to teach you to learn how to trade so you can make $5.50 or $10. Remember, these micro E-minis are 1/10 size. They're like the training wheels on your first bicycle. This is where you learn how to think your strategy and practice and learn your craft here. And don't think for a moment that you have to try and make $50 on a little contract trade like this, because it does happen, but it's not all that often. Now we're down at 43.24, so I'm about $20 up on the trade now. It may seem like a long time, but we're getting a $20, a little bit over $20 running profit here on this thing, and it's only been less than 5 minutes. Now I have a free trade. See that? I just moved my stop down to the same price as my entry point, 43.28 3/4. And for a moment there, I was trading down at 43.21. And now it's time. I'm going to move that stop again right now and try to at least lock in some profit on this trade. I don't have all the confidence in this trade to think that it's going to run on down and I'm going to get rich quickly. I'm just trying to eke out the profit here and see where it goes. Now, I moved my stock market down to 43.25, so that's 3.75 points is the minimum gain I'll get on this trade. I've kind of negotiated, so to speak, a profit of $18.75 on this trade as a very minimum I'm going to make there. I just got stopped out, so let's do the math. Okay, time to review the trade, or time to count the money, as I say, my favorite part. I just want to remind you, especially if you're new to the channel, we made $18.75 on this trade, and it lasted 8 minutes. You can see the figures up on the page there. I don't need to read them to you. But what I was going to say is, this channel is not about teaching you how to practice maybe for weeks or even months sometimes so that you can learn to make $18. This is a 1/10 size contract that I've been trading the regular E-mini instead of the S&P Micro E-mini. This trade would have made $187.50. Now, that's what you're getting warmed up for. Now, you won't go from trading one of the micros to the full E-mini that's 10 times the size because it's really hard to trade if you're new and your balance and your account's bouncing up at $50 a point. You'll be up or down $200 or $300 in a matter of seconds. It's quite common, and it's a terrifying way to learn how to trade. So what we do here on the channel is, thank goodness for the new micro E-minis. They only came out 2 years ago, and they trade 1 billion contracts already, as I said before, because they're so popular. It's affordable. You can learn how to trade futures on stock equity index futures without getting terrified that you're going to dump a week's pay in 2 or 3 minutes. Or even 2 or 3 seconds sometimes. Anyway, the drawdown was 16.25, the maximum unrealized gains. It was only there for a second, but it was $38.75. Had I behaved perfectly, which is impossible, I would have made the whole $38. But I got about half of it, and especially on this trade, I think that was fair. Perhaps I could have done a little bit better by moving my stops a little bit faster. Oh, I got to tell you, there's a guy who subscribes to the channel for about 2 years now, and it's fun. Every week when he sees the trade of the week or the featured trade, whatever we call it, he emails me and tells me how much we made an hour. And this week he's going to figure out 8 minutes and out of 60 and a profit of $18.75. And I've already done the math. It's about $140 an hour. Now, that's not a realistic thing to achieve, especially when you're starting. But it is kind of fun to do, and I agree with him that that's fun. But you can't keep all your money invested at that rate with that intensity. It's not practical, is what I'm saying. So I'm not trying to make you think you're going to get rich quick in this. It's not that at all. It's a lot of hard work to learn how to trade, and it's about knowing yourself as much or more than it is understanding the markets and a lot of the new terminology. Now, it's like a new job. If you're just learning this on the first day, you don't know what everybody's name is and where everything is. But after you've been working for a month or two, it's just like it's just business as normal, and you know all those little things. That's what it's like, the process of learning the terms that surround futures and learning to trade these highly leveraged contracts. Now, one of the things you need to do if you want to get notified every time we put up a new video each week, and almost always they contain a featured trade too. It's a great way to learn. Just take the trade apart and be able to speak about it like we did today. By the way, I use the likes on the channel as kind of a vote. If you want to see another video that's similar to the one you saw today, hit the like button, please. I keep a tally on those, and it helps me determine what subjects to put in the videos each week. And be sure and subscribe so you get notified of the new videos each week. And also check out my book. It has over, I'm really humbled, it has over 230 five-star reviews on Amazon. Cost about as much as a medium pizza, and I hope you would make that investment back pretty fast. But of course, there's no guarantees. This kind of trading is risky and isn't for everybody. But check out the book link in the text below the video today. And thanks for being along this week. It was a great time. I'm Don Singletary, and I hope every day is a payday for you. Thank you.